The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Welcome to the NBC New Year's special.
I'm Yumin Kim.
And I'm Mac Freeman, and tonight we will be recounting the events of the past decade. So, as we're recapping the decade, what was your favorite movie?
Oh, I personally liked Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Oh, really? What did you like best about it?
I really love the main actress, the leading actress, Audrey Hepburn.
Well, we'll be interviewing Audrey Hepburn here in the studio later.
This past decade has been very big on the development of music.
We have a clip for you, exclusive clip, from one of our own interviewing Janis Joplin at the Woodstock.
Hi, I'm Grish Bodker here with Janis Joplin at Woodstock. So Janis, what inspires the countercultural movement?
You know, it's just that Vietnam War is just so pointless.
So what are your favorite fellow musicians here at Woodstock today?
I mean, I really love Country Joe and the Fish. His like anti-war feelings are just so inspiring.
Now, you guys are known for some pretty heavy drug use. What do you have to say about this accusation?
You know.
Yeah. Okay, great words, great words. So how many people are here today?
I mean, we're just all here grooving together, feeling the music in our hearts. Like, how am I supposed to know?
There are 400,000 people here. So what are your thoughts on this so-called British invasion?
What? British are invading?
No, honey, no. I meant like the growing popularity of the Beatles in America.
I mean, like, music's pretty good. Like, yeah.
So what kind of things do hippies do to protest the war?
I mean, there's just so much. Like, if we all just feel it in us, like, we burn the draft cards, the drugs, like the music, we just, just drop acid, not bombs.
So we have a very special treat for our audience tonight.
We have Tim here in the studio to talk about technologies that have been happening during the decade. Tim, we're on.
Hello everyone, my name is Tim. Today, I will be sharing with you Techno Time with Tim. Today, we will be talking about the past decade's scientific discoveries and inventions, including acrylic paint, as seen here, halogen lamps, the computer mouse, computer language and binary code, the handheld calculator, artificial hearts, the first ATM. America had the first man on the moon too, so.
Oh, Tim, other way.
And contraceptions.
Oh, Tim, it's contraceptives.
Yeah,
We'll be right back after the break.
Lava lamps! Lava lamps changed my life!
I just really liked looking at the lava.
I'm Tom, and my brother Tim recommends it.
Lava lamps. I have 12 in my room!
I'm afraid the dark and lava lamps was the answer.
My wife left me over a lava lamp.
Lava lamps.
Lava lamps.
Lava lamps.
Lava. And here in the studio, we have President-elect Richard M. Nixon to talk about the Vietnam War and the other landmark events of the decade. Mr. Nixon?
Thank you for having me, Mr. Freeman.
Oh, thank you for coming, sir. So, Mr. Nixon, let's talk about what's been going on in the last decade.
Ask your first question, Mr. Freeman.
All right, so let's talk about some thoughts here on the Kennedy assassination at the beginning of the decade.
Of course.
Tragic event.
I was deeply shocked to hear of the tragedy in Dallas. It was quite unfortunate. Thankfully, the Secret Service was able to make a positive impact and get everyone out safely.
Truly a good thing that Miss Kennedy is all right. So let's talk. We have a video of the footage. Truly tragic. Damn, his head burst like a ripe melon. It's tragic. Tragic. On that note, let's move on. Let's talk about the Black Power movements.
The Black Power movements. I'm deeply disturbed by many of the illicit activities of the Black Power movement, such as the Black Panthers. They use violence, Mr. Freeman. Violence that impacts negatively the people of the United States of America.
It seems that you have a very passionate feeling towards this issue.
Of course I do.
So what exactly about their movements has bothered you the most?
They put American lives and jobs at risk. And it is not worth the price of equality if our citizens are not safe.
That's a very good point. Moving on, we'll talk about how Johnson has picked up the banner from Kennedy's administration after his terrible assassination.
Well, I must say, Mr. Johnson, despite the fact that he's a backstabbing Democrat, has done a fantastic job picking up the pieces of the Kennedy administration. He's been able to reintroduce many of Kennedy's reforms. And among his landmarks, I will say, he has decreased the poverty line to a vastly smaller number than the United States has ever seen before.
President Johnson has also been advocating in the realm of civil rights, as well as Mr. Martin Luther King and his peaceful marches and such. Here's some comments about that.
First, I must send my condolences to the family of Martin Luther King Jr., who passed away recently. I have a deep, profound respect for Mr. Martin Luther King. He single-handedly advocated for civil rights without a moment of violence needed.
He truly did. He was also his I Had a Dream speech was phenomenal. It was very touching.
Another point
And
of phenomenal importance that he was able to accomplish was the peaceful march in Montgomery, Alabama. It was unlike anything I've ever seen.
Truly was. So let's backtrack a little bit and talk about the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Of course.
And the beginning of Kennedy's administration, and how he handled that, and some thoughts on how he handled that.
I will always be an advocate of all things protecting American interests, Mr. Freeman. Kennedy was acting in the best interest of the American people to stop the red spread from reaching America. It is not worth having the American people so close to communists in Cuba.
And about the missiles themselves and how he handled the situation with the nuclear threat so close to home.
Mr. Kennedy did an outstanding job negotiating with both the Cubans and the Russians to negotiate a peaceful settlement and allowing our citizens to live in peace in this great country.
He truly did. So let's talk about the main event here in this evening, our talks here. We'll talk about the Vietnam conflict and how it was handled in the decade. Mr. Nixon?
The Vietnam conflict began in 1965 when Johnson sent the troops in to aid southern Vietnam from the communistic threat of the North from China.
Which happened after the Gulf of Tonkin incident, correct?
Indeed. Now, that being said, I think it is a very positive thing what we're doing in Vietnam. But I do not agree with Mr. Freeman, is that we are sending so many soldiers overseas.
Truly, and why is this? You don't think that our numbers currently in Vietnam is a good idea?
No, sir.
We should reduce them?
Indeed. Why, you might ask? Because, is it really worth hundreds of thousands of lives in the pursuit of freedom?
I don't think so. And also after the Tet Offensive in '68, awful.
Indeed, it was a mistake from the first. And Lyndon Johnson, with his sending missile strikes into the country, it was a downhill fight from there, thinking that he could end the war swiftly by attacking the country, but it only increased hostility.
Yeah, Operation Rolling Thunder was not the success that he had hoped. So that's all for tonight with this. So we'll leave you and we'll move on to our next segment.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Freeman.
No problem, Mr. Mason. Thank you for coming.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
Got a light?
Smoking makes you look skinny, and it gets you all the ladies. Buy some today.
And now we'll move to Greer interviewing Audrey Hepburn.
They'll be talking about pop culture in the 60s.
Hi, I'm Grish Watka, and tonight we have with us Audrey Hepburn here to talk about pop culture.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Now tell me, what have been the most iconic fashions of the decade?
Well, my personal favorite for women was the bouffant hair. It was very classy.
We also saw an emergence of brightly colored clothing like men's Nero jackets and women's dresses.
Yes, and also the bell-bottom jeans were both very popular for men and women.
Now, who do you think was the most iconic celebrity?
Definitely Jackie Kennedy. She was a trendsetter for women everywhere, and she kept her family together through tough times.
Of course, and remember the infamous JFK affair with Marilyn?
Yes.
We have footage of Jackie, Marilyn, and John.
See you, Jackie.
Hi, Mr. President.
Hi, Marilyn.
You wench!
Wow.
Moving on, what were the trends among children?
Well, girls fell in love with Barbie dolls, and guys liked G.I. Joe.
Very popular toys. What TV shows were watched?
Sesame Street started, which is very popular for children. There's also the Dick Van Dyke Show, and Star Trek broke barriers with its futuristic setting.
Thank you, Audrey, for your very valuable input. Now back to Yuman and Mac.
Thank you for joining us tonight. And you know, now it's almost time for the countdown as the new year, 1970, just around the corner.
New decade, guys.
So yeah, we'll just sit here and wait for a little bit. Thank you for watching, and we'll sit here and wait till it's 10.
Oh, look! 10, 9,